Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Disclosure Day, making $8.2 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $94 million and a worldwide total of $195 million. So it held better this weekend than it did last weekend. I honestly thought we would see another steep drop, but it held better, a 53% drop off. Not the best hold, but could have been far worse. But I do think it's indicative of how this movie's just not catching on. It definitely seems to be lagging against some other movies. Yes, it's going to surpass $200 million globally. It's going to surpass its $115 million budget domestically. It shouldn't be a total money loser, but I definitely think they were hoping for a lot more here, given the premise and Steven Spielberg's name. I think they were just expecting for a bigger turnout, the word of mouth to do its thing, and this to greatly benefit from counter programming, but it doesn't really seem to be doing that. Again, just not meeting expectations, just kind of doing its best right now. And hey, it's not doing terribly. It's doing better than a lot of other movies out right now, but again, far away from what I think they were hoping for this movie. Number 4 was Jackass, Best and Last, opening with $8.4 million this weekend domestically and $10 million worldwide. This is the lowest opening for a Jackass movie. It sits behind Jackass the movie, Jackass Forever, Jackass number 2, Bad Grandpa, and Jackass 3D. Can't say I'm surprised that the movie opened too low, as I didn't have high expectations going into this weekend, but still I expected at least double digits here because I know Jackass is really popular. I'm a fan of the movies, and with this being the final film, I thought that would spark more interest, especially with the diehard Jackass fans, but it seems that they were the only ones who really cared to go check this out this weekend. I just don't think the hype was there, and I just think the movie itself just didn't really sell people on checking it out at the theater. The fact that half of it was a clip show and the other half was actual new stuff kind of turned people away. I think it just made people go, oh well, if that's going to be the movie, then I don't think I really need to go check this out at the theater. I can just wait till this drops on streaming, which appears to be the sentiment for the movie, as again, lowest opening in the franchise. I doubt this movie's going to play well throughout the summer given how low the opening was for this, and we're heading into July, like the biggest of the big movies, and I doubt this movie stays afloat, to put it lightly, during that behemoth of a month. There is, a benefit here, the fact that it is a Jackass movie, so it didn't cost much. It was only $10 million, and people who saw it did actually seem to like it. Critics enjoyed it. Last I checked, it was at 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences also seem to be really enjoying it. It got an A- on CinemaScore, which is above all of the other Jackass movies except for the first movie, which is actually on par with. So there is that. Maybe, who knows, maybe the word of mouth kicks in, and obviously the movie was so cheap, it's not like going to be a total money loser or anything, but even with those beneficiaries, I just doubt that this movie gets to where it needs to. Unfortunately, it looks like Jackass is gonna end out on a dud here. Number 3 was once again Obsession, making $9.7 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $233 million and its worldwide total to $371 million. Another weekend, another excellent performance for Obsession. What else is there to say, man? Just another home run for this movie. It just keeps chugging along. The fact that this lasted all the way throughout June is just miraculous. It lasted longer this month than Scary Movie, Masters of the Universe, even Backrooms, which is incredible when you really think about it. Again, this movie came out in like the middle of May, had to face off, really big movies, and it's just climbed up the ranks and just maintained these strong holds and really built like an empire for itself. That sounds weird saying it out loud, but it's kind of the truth. And because of that, it was able to become, for a short period of time, the biggest movie of the summer. Obviously, it got dethroned a couple days later, but the fact that it was even able to claim the top spot for that short amount of time is still an astonishing achievement. I mean, really think about it. The biggest movie of the summer was an indie horror movie. That is just insane, again, if you really do think about it. And this weekend just goes to show that the movie still got juice left in the tank. I know it's supposed to come out on digital soon, and obviously Evil Dead is on the horizon, but I think we will definitely see this movie stick around for at least one more week. It'll stay around to see the fireworks, if you know what I mean. And again, the fact that this movie has just done as superbly as it has is just remarkable. Definitely one of the box office stories of the ages, truly the box office story of the summer and maybe even of the year, just defying all expectations. Just man, oh man. Number 2 was Supergirl, opening with $37 million this weekend domestically and $67 million worldwide. In terms of DC movies, it is the 24th biggest opening. It sits in between Joker Folie à Deux and Birds of Prey, and it's the 8th biggest opening of the summer. It topped Masters of the Universe and Obsession, but still sits behind Mortal Kombat 2, Disclosure Day, Scary Movie 6, Devil Wears Prada 2, Backrooms, Mandalorian and Grogu, and Toy Story 5. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh my gosh. Rarely am I like truly shocked and dare I say appalled by how poorly a movie does. I thought this was going to be closer to what Mandalorian and Grogu did earlier this summer, where yeah, it may not make a lot in terms of its budget, but I think it would be really saved by that opening. Maybe enough people are curious to come check it out. It is the second film in the DC universe, and you know, Superman last year was really, really good, so maybe people are on board, but unfortunately that was just not the case here. This was much more similar to what happened with He-Man than Mandalorian and Grogu, which really does surprise me. It just shows that the marketing was way worse than I thought it was, and the interest was significantly worse than I thought it was. Let's just break this down. First off, bad release date. Like, this was always gonna be like one of the things hurting this movie, wedging it in between two big animated sequels. That was already a bad sign. But also the marketing was just not up to par, especially for like a big summer blockbuster. Like, you look back at Superman last year, and they did everything they could to sell that movie. That movie was everywhere. They did an excellent job promoting that movie. Here, the best they could do was a KFC meal and a couple of promos here and there, so the marketing was already not up to par, but it also didn't sell the movie well either. It looked like a typical superhero movie we've seen time and time again, and lately people just aren't on board for those. You really need to stand out and deliver, because otherwise people are not going to come out and see you. And even if they did, it's clear that the interest and the buzz was just so much lower than even I thought it would. Again, I thought they had a lot of goodwill from the trailers, and especially Superman last year, and you know, being the first superhero movie in almost a year since Fantastic Four, so I thought that would boost it, but clearly that was just not the case. People were not on board to see this movie, and none of the beneficiaries helped it out in any way. Just the interest for this thing was just so low, and what's worse is the budget and the reception. This is a $170 million movie, folks. It'll be lucky to get to half of that worldwide, because the audience and critical reception has been very underwhelming. Critics are a lot more split on this movie. It's sitting in like the high 50s on Rotten Tomatoes, while audiences are also not fond of this movie. It got a B- on CinemaScore. It's on par with another DC movie, Superman 3, everyone's favorite Superman movie. So unfortunately, this is looking like a really big flop. It's definitely competing with Masters of the Universe for biggest flop of the summer, which is just, you know, sad to see. I know I've been harping on it a lot, but this is just one of those things where it's just more sad than anything. I kind of just don't want to talk about it too much anymore. It feels like, again, like with Masters of the Universe, beating on it while it's down, and just just not a good start for Supergirl. And finally, let's end the video off with the number one movie of the weekend, which was once again Toy Story 5, making $70 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $298 million and a worldwide total of $589 million. While it didn't pull off an Inside Out 2, I think it still held pretty well, especially given that it had such an advantage over a lot of other movies this summer, that being that there were two big holidays on its opening. So the fact that the movie fell only 56% is honestly kind of a blessing. It does show that the word of mouth and the response is really positive right now. Families still loving this, general audiences really enjoying this, and it's pushing it to new heights Toy Story hasn't seen. It's well ahead of the other sequels and is certainly going to be the biggest film in the franchise. It's just $2 million shy away from $300 million domestically. It's like about $10 million away from $600 million worldwide. It's going to blaze past those probably by the time this video comes out, let's be honest, and should settle around $700 million worldwide by the end of this week. And even with it being the most expensive movie of the summer, again, $250 million budget, it's already made well past that, and it should still get to $1 billion worldwide, definitely $500 million domestically. Toy Story 5 is still in a good place right now. Again, audiences seem to be enjoying it a lot, going to check it out, recommend it to others. Again, still going to be the biggest film of the franchise, though these next 2 weeks are going to be very, very interesting for this movie as it faces off against two big kids movies. One of them is animated, the other one is by Disney. So again, gonna be really interesting to see if this movie can keep its momentum going, if families will still have time to go check this movie out against the other brand newer movies to appeal to family audiences. It's still going to come out on top and be the biggest out of the three, but it will be interesting to see if this movie can put up a good fight or gets badly bruised by them. So that's definitely going to be something to look out for in regards to this movie and how it performs in these next 2 weeks. But as far as it is right now, things are still looking bright and shiny for this movie, still headed for tons of more box office success. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend's big new movie is Minions and Monsters, the third Minions movie, or technically 7th Despicable Me movie, and centers on a new group of minions wanting to make a monster movie in the early days of Hollywood and having to summon actual real monsters, and chaos ensues. Now, this franchise has been very consistent, especially recently, and I think this one should do the same. I'm expecting a solid performance. Not the biggest debut, but definitely a movie to keep this franchise afloat. I think a lot of people still love these movies a lot. It's clear, again, 7 Despicable Me movies, my goodness. Boy, do I feel old. But regardless, the fact that we're still getting these movies does show that people still really do like these movies. And I think the buzz on this one especially is a lot stronger than the prior installments, as it does seem to be like a lot of people are really excited for this new one, especially some of the former naysayers of the Minions I've actually seen going, oh, you know what, I'm actually really excited for this movie. It also helps that the marketing has been everywhere. They have been pushing and promoting this movie like crazy. I've been seeing non-stop ads for this all over the place. My God, they are promoting the crap out of this movie. But like Toy Story 5, it is going to be interesting to see how this competes with the other family movies. Again, Toy Story 5 just came out, and you got Moana the week after. So it'll be interesting to see if this movie does show that the Minions can still maintain its core audience, still, you know, bring families to this theater, or if it gets, like I said with Toy Story 5, a bit bruised by the other family competition. That's definitely going to be something to look out for with this movie. But we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movie that lands in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.